Bristol. It's good to be here this week. We missed you last week. Matt and Joan, our guests, are kind enough to come back, and we're thrilled to be here. Matt Norton is from Agape House, and Joan McMahon is from St. Vincent de Paul Mission. And we're going to be talking about homelessness and people who are homeless. Before we get started, I want just to remind you that if you like what we're doing here on Bristol Edition, please follow us on our Facebook pages, like our videos and our stories, and on our website, sign up for our email newsletter. If you have the wherewithal, we would appreciate donations. It's how we can keep bringing this to you while we work with volunteers, and they're very important to us. We also have people that we actually pay for their services, and so I just wanted to maybe get that out there to you. And but here we are tonight with Matt and Joan again. Welcome. I think maybe what we want to do is, with the time here, is talk a little bit about how your roles in the different services that you provide. So you both provide service to people who are homeless. And Matt, you work at Agape House, and you're a volunteer there.
Yes.
You've been doing that work for a long time. And so you're more feet on the ground, and that's an important thing to be able to be able to work with these people. We'll talk a little bit about that dynamic in a minute. Joan, you are more of an administrator, and you're at a desk, and that is also an important role, because there are it's while you work for different organizations, your ultimate goal is to help people. And so maybe what we can do with Matt, talk a little bit about how you see yourself and your role and what you do.
The Agape House is an organization that we're open 8 a.m. till noon every day except Sunday. We let people in to let them have some food, get them nourished, but also offer them access to computers, access to landline phones. While they're there, we're trying to get to know them. There's so many wildly different stories associated to each person that walks in. And in order to help them, you got to find out what their background is, what brought them to this situation. And I think that's our strong suit, is we can really get into the details and figure out how to best work from walking through the door for the first time.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think maybe talk a little bit about that. How do you approach someone who shows up there and looking for services?
Luckily, because we're creating relationships, we can identify somebody who's walked in for the first time. We have a program to keep track of who comes in, and if their name doesn't come up, we know they're new. So we can sit them down, get some information, try to get them to open up. Sometimes I can't tell you how many times somebody comes in one time. They let us know what the issues are, and we can come up with a solution fairly quickly. They just had to come the one time to realize that maybe they just needed to get over to St. Vincent de Paul and talk to their resource center. Maybe they just needed to get through a couple of free meals, and they can get back whatever they were.
I really like the way you have the food system set up over there, where people prepare their own food.
Yes, we put it out kind of like a buffet style, so we're not standing behind a wall handing them a plate. They come in, they decide how hungry they are and how much they want to eat, and we can be in there sitting with them, get to know them, like I said, finding out what they may be coming for a year, but if somebody's sitting there the day they're ready for the help, then that's a win.
That's great. And we'll talk a little bit about making some of those connections and networks.
Yeah.
So Joan, and and just tell us a little bit about you before we get into more specifics.
So I have the honor and privilege to be the executive director for St. Vincent de Paul here in Mission, here in Bristol. And I work with a dynamic staff. They really put compassion into action, and those aren't just words. We are a temporary shelter supporting men, women, and children. And we also have a resource center that is downstairs in our area. And then we have main floor, which is the dining hall. And people are able to come in and start their process, start their journey. And hopefully the goal is to become housed.
So you are located over on the corner of Jacob and
Right.
West Street,
We are at 19 Jacobs. Yes.
19 Jacob Street, right? And is that the old? What is?
It is. It's an old, I'm told it's an old convent.
Yes,
for
the old
St.
convent. The
Anne.
school's gone, but that's
Yep.
that's where the convent
Yep.
is. Yeah. And Matt, you are over on. Let's see. Is it
43 School Street.
it's
We're
schools-
directly across from Imagination Learning Center
right there? Yeah.
and right next to the Board of Ed.
So it's the corner of it's school and church.
Yes.
Yes, right there. And it's part. And Bridge Church is facing School Street,
Yes.
and then you are around back.
Yes.
And that's how people would find you. Yeah. It's interesting too, because we did talk about it is Agape House, which has Christian connotations and a history of one of the words for love, Greek word for love, right?
We are a Christian ministry.
And you're a Christian ministry. You are associated. You are by a church, but you're not associated with that church necessarily. You're not an outreach of that church.
We're associated with any church.
Any church.
We're willing to work and do work with every church in the area.
Yep. And then that would include would that include mosques and
It has never come up,
Yeah.
but
we do have a mosque in town, so I'm probably sure
Okay.
maybe that probably would yeah.
We're a Christian ministry.
Yeah.
So we will work with whoever's willing to help
Mhm.
gets these people back and get the help they need.
That's great.
But
That's
but
terrific.
we're very much a Christian ministry.
Right.
Where we do, when you walk in, when we let the people in at 8 o'clock in the morning, they stop in the hallway and we say a prayer with them.
Yeah. I have a friend, and maybe you have more of the Catholic
Mhm.
tradition with St. Vincent
Mhm.
de Paul mission. I had a friend who was of a Christian denomination, but not Catholic. And he ended up doing some missionary work with Mother Teresa in India. He went on a personal journey, and he ended up doing that. And then when he came back to the States, he worked over in New York. So he actually knew her on first name basis. And so it wasn't just a prayer, it was Eucharistic adoration before doing anything for an hour. You had to get your mind straight. So that's kind of interesting, and I do appreciate that. Yeah. So if we were going to like break things down and talk a little bit about some of the differences between in the roles, someone greeting people, someone who is, I mean, you may greet someone too, but someone who's an administrator, some of your roles. And so how would you spend your day? So Matt, how would you spend your day? Pick a day and a week. Just go through maybe this earlier this week, or it could be last week. But what time do you get there?
I get there at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not a good example. I am put way too much time into this. But I get the food ready early in the morning, get the coffee going, and do some things to get ready for the people to come in. Make sure that we have whatever they're going to need. We try to have everything ready to go. So I probably don't have to be there that early,
Mm-hmm.
but I would rather things be done and ready and not have to be running around. And I have my own kind of quiet time
Mhm.
to get my own little prayer together and be ready to have some patience for some strange and odd things that people might need.
Yeah, right.
You
Exactly.
get some very odd
Yeah.
situations that will
And
come in.
you don't want to betray any trust, but you have give me an example.
Well, we have an outrageous, and this is not unique to Bristol because I talk to other organizations that do this type of work. In Connecticut, we have an outrageous amount of mental illness that's on the streets, unchecked, unhelped. And I'm doing everything I can. We're doing everything we can to try and find different avenues to get these people the help they need. But there are some very disturbed people walking around the streets right now.
And yet it's not I wouldn't want to give the impression that you've got to fear someone because they're homeless. So what would you say to people who are on the same street as someone who appears to be homeless?
I would say that the majority of the deeply disturbed people are openly, they're not hiding their
Yeah.
issues. The majority of the people that come in are very safe, very nice people that are just down on their luck. Just so happens that right now in this time we're in, we have some people that are, and by dangerous, I mean, they might really offend you.
They would yell.
They might
They
yell
might
at you. They
point
might,
you out, or they might.
yes, accuse you of something,
Yeah.
and they're just not really of their right mind.
It's kind of like a brother or sister on a bad day.
Yes, they're permanently having a bad day.
They're
Yes.
permanently having a bad day. Not to
Yeah.
laugh at that, but just the analogy between that,
Yeah.
just that's so. So you got in this morning at 6. You started the coffee.
Start the coffee, heat up the food.
So with the food now, can they make their own food, or do you
We
do
don't
it?
make our own food.
Okay.
Most of our food all comes from commercial kitchens.
Yep.
We have a lot of restaurants and caterers
Mm-hmm.
that have an extra tray of food, and they know they can get it to me, or I'll go out in the middle of the night and pick it up and heat it up to appropriate temperature.
Okay,
in
so
the
you
morning.
heat the food up in the morning, and then So what's next? What did you do this morning?
Well, then we're going around getting the computers ready, getting ready for, and that's about the time we start
Opening the doors.
letting people in, get
Yeah.
them all close, and we can sit down and have a nice prayer and try to kick off our day in a positive way.
Yeah. So how many you have computers here, so people can actually do things like resumes?
Yeah, we
They
have
can
a
actually do
computer room.
searches. That you have a computer room. Yes.
We do a lot of things that, say, if a person comes in, they don't have identification, we will figure out what it takes to get them new identification. We will get you a new birth certificate, new driver's license, state ID, whatever. Over the course of your time there, that's why we're creating, because we don't advertise these types of things. So we got to sit down and figure out what you need. We don't want to be AAA.
Right. No, yeah,
we don't want
yeah.
a line outside of everybody that wants a new paperwork.
Yeah.
But if it's going to change your
Well, people
life,
are going to find out right now. So,
well, that's
yeah, I'm talking about it. Yeah.
Believe me, I was hesitant to.
Yeah.
There are other things that we do that we don't talk about,
Right.
because we couldn't handle the amount of people that would be looking to get
Right.
that kind of help.
Yeah. And during COVID, I imagine things kind of ramped up a little bit too.
COVID was complicated. I mean, we had to change everything that we did. We had to pivot, and it wasn't easy. We had to constantly change because the government constantly changing the rules. 1 minute we had plexiglass between each person. The next minute we had to have people walking in the back door and out the front door, and it was.
And you did it though.
Constantly adjusting. And we had very few people in the homeless world that ever got sick.
Is that right?
Because they're not interacting with the rest of the world the way we do.
Yeah.
They're in a very small group of people.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
And I think for some people, it would be surprised they'd be surprised to hear that a homeless person has a driver's license, or that they need some kind of paperwork completed. But
and the point that I always want to get across is these people everyone is unique. I'll hear stories about people say, well, that guy said he's homeless, but I saw him get out of his car. Well, guess what? A lot of homeless people have a car and they live in their car. It might be the last asset they have. There is 100 different versions of homelessness. There's people that they literally are staying in a different place every single night.
And that's homeless, even though they might have a roof over their head.
Depending on what kind of program you're trying to apply for. But
So Joe, in your day, what time do you get in the morning?
So typically,
you have banker's hours?
No. Typically, it's early start, just to get a grip on what's going to happen. It's the old saying of 26 letters to an alphabet. It could be anything. Typical morning starts with just to check in with everyone, departments, kind of finding out what went on the night before. If I haven't received a text, I follow up with that. So it's today also involve contracts. So it's always ever changing.
And you're supposed to be boring because that's your job to be able to get all this kind of stuff done.
Yep.
But it's tedious.
It is. And it's wonderful. Really, we have a very strong team. I'd like to just circle back real quick. So out of COVID, if I may, SVDP of Bristol had a great thing happen where they created the resource center. So that is ground level, literally, right? So where folks can come in, they can walk in, they don't necessarily need an appointment, take a shower, charge their phone, grab something to eat, talk to somebody, and just relax and catch that respite moment, if you will. So that's really important. It's not a competition thing with Agape and other providers. It's more of a complementary thing. And how can we work together? And there really is robust richness that happens in that because all day long there's collaboration. So pretty unique.
So so the resource center. So tell me a little bit more about it.
So the resource
and how do you? I mean, how would if someone were going to use the resource center?
Yep.
How would they know it was there, and how would they navigate physically the physical plant?
Okay.
You go over there, you go to your back door, and there's a door. And what do you have where
So
you are right now?
We're in the back of our building, and there are signs that indicate where we are.
Okay, so there's signs.
Yep. And folks come in, they're greeted by our wonderful staff member. They sign in. They can do their laundry. They can, like I said, take a shower. They'll get fresh towels, linens, toiletries, things of that nature. And then they really start the process. Or perhaps somebody's calling in asking about, hey, I'm about to be homeless, or I am homeless. Can you help? That's a 211 referral, which is another whole ball of wax. So there are ways and means, and people are guided very compassionately, again, throughout the whole process. When Matt mentioned AAA, I take it a little differently. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Archdiocese of Hartford. AAA in our world means Archbishop's Annual Appeal. So that's another whole thing. But when you said it, it made me smile because I instantly thought of that. So we are, again, we are faith-based as well.
Right. And sometimes the impression is that if you're connected to the churches, there's lots of money. Maybe one church or a different church. And so I mean, there is funding.
There is funding.
But is it ever enough?
Never enough funding. But people are really generous. We're very blessed. However, to your point, I'm a strong proponent, raise awareness, funds will follow. I say that all the time. It is about awareness. It is about education and breaking that. Last I knew, homelessness isn't contagious. So it really is breaking that barrier, and collectively doing that with strong partners helps get the message out.
So again, yours is I'll call it a desk job. How often are you at your desk?
I'm not at my desk very often.
Okay.
Yeah. I am a boots on the ground manager. I pride myself on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was down in Branford on something, so it wherever my day will take me, it takes me.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Planfully, of course.
Yeah. So before we get to the next question, if someone were going to make a donation to either of your operations, where would they, how would they go about that? Say with St. Vincent de Paul.
So we're at St. Vincent de Paul. We're currently in a pivotal transition. So we are revamping our website. We are not accepting donations online at this point. So we are U.S. mail postage stamp, drop in.
Oh yeah.
We have a wonderful individual who is anonymous, who faithfully sends us a $20 bill every month.
Oh wow.
And we have no way to thank them. So if they're listening, thank you very much.
Right. Yeah. But what are some of the needs aside from, doing associated with the website? What are some of your needs right now in your facility?
Right now, I'm grant writing for a generator. That's number one. And of course, we don't have to talk in depth what happened here in Bristol just over the 4th of July weekend. So we're in need of that. We're putting together a wish list. So it's toiletries, and it's, as winter approaches, I mean, we're less than 5 weeks away from planning for overflow. It's going to be planning really soon.
Oh, the seasonal. Yeah.
So here we go. Right. So it's just never ending. So blankets and anything that we will accept. And if we can't use it, we certainly pass it on.
Right. And so the same thing for you. If somebody were going to make a donation.
We do have a like a QR code on our website and on our Facebook
Nice.
page.
Yeah.
We are always looking for
Yeah.
different ways to help. I mean, food donations. If there's ever anybody that has a catered event that has extra trays of food, that's how we survive. That's a big bonus
It
for
is
us.
a day-to-day operation.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's, okay, I have a scenario for you. We had a situation here in town where a frustrated business owner seemed to take some things into his own hands, and it took some interesting turns. Say, from your perspective, Matt, how would you how would you react if, say, this person called you first, or kind of encountered you while they were doing this or in the midst of their frustration? How would you go about working with someone who is not homeless, but someone who is confronted someone who's homeless?
Depending on the scenario, there's one thing is Bristol is extremely well managed. We have people like most times I remind people, please call the police if it's an issue that you feel unsafe. The Bristol police have hired 2 officers that are working with this
And then what's their titles? They are
community wellness officers.
community wellness officers, and they are trained specifically for this kind of interaction.
One of the, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, right.
mental health issues and different, but it's the perception that if you call the police, the people are just going to get harassed is not the case here in Bristol. They've done their due diligence to make sure people get treated correctly.
Right. Well, I hope people hear that. That's great.
And to be honest, they'll give me a call if it's something that I can help with, and I'll make a soft connection because
Mhm.
chances are I've had interactions with them in the past.
I mean, you do know many people by name who are living on the streets.
I've gotten to know most. There's always, strangely, there's somebody new that I've never met, and I'm glad to get that call to come out and meet them as well.
Yeah. So this frustrated business owner calls you and says, "What am I going to do?"
In that case, I would have told them to call the police.
Yeah.
But I would have gone down there because I do know the people that tend to be in that area that are sleeping
Yeah.
in tents. And I have been to that area several times, and it's a turnover. There's been several different people that have lived in that little patch of woods over the past 6 or 7 years.
And you mentioned an interesting dynamic when we chatted about this earlier. You said that some people will piggyback on a homeless encampment. They're not homeless themselves, but they will kind of insinuate themselves with the people who live there, and that also is not a good thing because typically that has to do with drug use.
Exactly.
So it's not the homeless person necessarily, although I'm not saying
Not
it.
just in Bristol, but I've been like in New Britain. I've gone to the homeless encampments there as well. And if you get to know the people there, sometimes you meet people that are just there for recreational reasons.
Yeah.
And that's what we're working on, trying to stop that.
Right.
I mean, we want the people to get help, but we don't want to enable somebody to have a
Right. So someone may be there and they may not be homeless, but they may be there because it's a safe place, and they figure that out.
Exactly.
It's kind of counterintuitive to the way the rest of us might handle that kind of situation. So again, and then the homeless also get a bad reputation for being a gathering place for drug use and things like that.
Over
I'm
the
not saying they
years-
don't do drugs. I'm not saying there aren't addiction issues.
Right.
There are mental health issues, and people self-medicate.
Right. And if I may, I just really would like to stress that not every person that's homeless is a drug addict. That really is the case. I mean, life happens, and we're all one step away from a change. So I think awareness, again, the education piece, the awareness piece, can't say enough about it because it's so true.
So there's an angry or frustrated business person, and they contact you at St. Vincent de Paul. It's interesting because how would you?
I would invite him in for a tour. I really would. I would invite that particular party in for a tour, answer any questions, have them meet the staff, see that there's thriving and there's smiles and there's laughter, and it's break that misnomer, and put those fears to rest and put those hands to work. There's always something that somebody can do, and we can always do it a little better.
Yeah. So Matt, you tell us some interesting stories about visiting some encampments where it is a person's home.
Well, I mean, we were just talking before this start that one of the people that was a very well-known homeless person in Bristol had a property that he kind of took over quietly. Nobody knew he was there for years. But I mean, he was down by a river. He had a compressor or a generator, water pump for taking showers. He had a microwave that he could hook up to the generator, and he was a character. And he
was a former iron worker.
He fell on hard times and just decided that this was the way he was going to live. Right. And he wasn't looking for much help. He didn't come in very often.
Yeah.
And he had some amazing, I mean, I could tell stories about things that he had a rooster for a while. He had an encampment that just with a view of a river. I mean, if on the surface, when you first went down to visit him, it almost seemed like a KOA campground. It was nice to visit.
Yeah.
He got hit by a car.
Ooh.
Because he was an alcoholic, and eventually a lot of people took over that property, and it's gotten out of hand since then. But
wow. Yeah.
But like you were saying, we've had over the years on that property, even 1 year, say 4 years ago, we had 3 or 4 women over 65 living in tents in that property. And luckily, through the work of all the different groups getting together and really trying to find answers, they're all housed now.
That's incredible. And just the way the things are organized, you've got Agape House from 8 to 12. And then you have Brian's Angels from what time are they open?
12 to 3.
12 to 3. And then you also have some of the soup kitchens?
Meals for Neighbors.
Meals for Neighbors, which is the old Zion Lutheran.
Yes.
The old Zion Lutheran, soup kitchen. Yeah, so it kind of goes, but I mean, I still say that, and that kind of shows how people are working together. And then you've got 211, you've got the police, you've got a network of people going on here, community wellness people, and so it's better not to not to hide this so much, but just kind of like look for some help.
And raise awareness, really. Yeah. Talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Yeah. Reach out, talk about it. If you have questions, ask them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know I walk every day around the Federal Hill Green, and we know we have a person who is living on the green. And it's always interesting to me that the person's there, and there are kids playing on the playground. It's like, okay, we can all get along. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't seem to be, but some people would be very frightened of that. And of course, you don't want to have someone in those circumstances in the first place. But, there is something to be said for to respect that and to kind of realize that people are looking for some solutions rather than just assuming that this person is out there and it's not part of some kind of awareness, a greater awareness. People are aware of what's happening there.
And that's why I come to things like this, is to let people know there is plenty of people working on this. It's not going unnoticed. There is constantly, there's Bristol Cares meeting where everybody all the different organizations get together and we discuss individuals. The Agape House, we host a meeting where we invite all of the local organizations to come in.
When is that? When do you hold that?
Every other week.
Is that right?
We invite the police, St. Vincent de Paul workers, the community youth and community services. We invite them to come in and have lunch so we can always be up to date on the latest things that are going on.
Wow. That's
Very,
something.
not very often is anyone surprised by anything, put it that way.
Yeah.
We're all very much in touch with each other.
Yeah, that's terrific. So we're coming to the end of our time here. I didn't know if there's anything you wanted to say directly to our audience or in closing. So why don't you go ahead, Joanna?
Thank you. Yeah. So again, please contact us for a tour if you'd like to come in and see our shelter. We are always happy to talk, and donations are always welcome. We'll be putting out a wish list soon. Thank you. I mean, for whatever anybody can do, volunteer is huge. We're always looking for volunteers. There is a process. Once the process is cleared, we will put you to work. I promise. So.
Throw out a phone number or how
Okay,
they can,
so
yeah.
our office number is 860-589-9098, and I'm extension 111. The executive assistant is extension 110. We are in the midst of revamping our phone system, so please be patient. We will get back to you, but we certainly welcome you. Thank you.
All right, Matt.
So I would basically say exactly what you just said. Come on down, take a look for yourself. Don't take somebody else's word for it. Don't assume that certain things are happening in these places that aren't happening. We welcome anyone to come in, look around, look behind the curtain, because there is no secrets. Our motto is a hand up, not a handout. And it's evident when you walk around. Our goal is to help people, not enable. And please, best way to get hold of us, go to our website, look up what we have, go to Facebook. We're a very great person who does our posts on our Facebook, makes us look very smart. Geraldine, if you're out there, thank you so much. But it's donations is the only thing that keeps us going. Stop in, everything from a can of soup to fit $10, $20. We need to pay the rent. We need to keep the doors open and pay for things that can change someone's life. Having the option to say, hey, this is something that we can fix. We can deal with this. We can handle this if we have the funds to do it.
You have the funds to do that, right? Terrific. Thank you so much. Matt Norton of Agape House and Joan McMahon of St. Vincent de Paul Mission here in town. Thank you for all the work you do. I really appreciate it. I have been to Agape House. I haven't been over to St. Vincent de Paul, but I know the good work that they do over there. This is David Fortier with Talking Bristol. And once again, I'd like to thank you for coming on tonight. Thank our guests. And remember that if if you like what we're doing, take time to follow us on Facebook. Take time to sign up and subscribe to our online newsletter on our website. And also, if you have the wherewithal and can do that, please don't be afraid to click the donation button and help us out. Once again, thanks for being with us. Thank you again, and everyone have a good night.